Yes, who want to start?
Ma'am, Sunil, ma'am.
Yes, Sunil.
Ma'am, 2 minutes, ma'am.
Yeah. Rakesh, say people who have to present today is Rakesh, Ramya over, right? Rashmi also over. Ravi is here. Rizwan, Vishal, Savita, Shruti, Sneha, Spurti, Srinidhi, yesterday he has given, I think. Sunil, Srinivas, Sunil, Vaishnavi, Vinny. And rest of them who have not who has not presented. Yes, Sunil, you can start.
Hello,
I'm presenting.
ma'am.
ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ ಕೇಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಹೇಳಪ್ಪ. ಯಾಕೆ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಸುನೀಲ್? ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್?
Ma'am, lab execution, ma'am.
ಆಯ್ತು.
From
ಯಾವ
third floor.
ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್? ಓಕೆ.
Ma'am, this is third one. Got all outputs, ma'am. Then next one. Ma'am.
Yes.
Fourth one, ma'am.
Yes.
Next.
Yeah.
Now fifth one, ma'am. Ma'am, this is fifth one.
Yes.
All output I got, ma'am. View already created, so that its view was not showing now, ma'am. Ma'am, all programs executed, ma'am.
ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ.
Then the presentation I will do with
Presentation.
after 2-3 members I'll do, ma'am.
Okay. Who is presenting now? Ravi?
Yes, ma'am.
Ravi?
Yes, ma'am.
He'll present. Ravi will present. Rizwan? Vishal? Savita?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody, anyone start.
Okay, I'll present, ma'am.
Yes, Vishal.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, Sunil, it is visible, Sunil. Sunil, it is visible. Sorry, Vishal, it is visible.
Okay. Ma'am, third program. Okay.
Yes,
Consider an
yes,
organization
Vishal.
ABC having many employees, and an employee works for one department. Each employee identified by using MPID having name, address, and more than one phone numbers. And departments are identified by using department number having department name, location, and each department having a manager, each department having many employees, and there are many projects, and each project is controlled by the department. And the project is also uniquely identified by project number having project name, location, and the employee works on many projects, number of hours work, uh, number of hours per week worked on each project. An employee also needs to be recorded in the database. And the project is worked by many employees, each employee is supervised by the supervisor, employee having many dependents having the dependent name, gender, age, address. Dependents are identified by MID. And this is used by 3NF to solve the queries. And the first creation table is employee table. Create table employee. MID is the primary key, and we use name, address, and supervisor ID and department number. And for the creation of employee phone number, employee ID is the reference from MID from the employee table and the phone number. And here we alter the table employee by adding a foreign key, which is super MID referred by MID from the M table. And department, create department table. Department number is the primary key, and we use department name, location, department manager ID, and department manager ID where it is different from the uh, MID from the employee table. And same for the project also. The project number is the primary key, and project name, project location, department number, which is referred from the department number from the department table. The one more create table works on MID, which is referred from the MID from the employee table, project number, reference project, and hours. And the last table is dependent table, where MID is referred from the MID from the employee table, dependent name, gender, address, and age. And now it starts the insertion of employee values, where we have to insert the MID, emp name, address, and the supervisor employee ID and the department number. And for emp phone values, we have to insert employee ID and phone number. For the department values, we have to enter the department number, department name, department location, and department manager ID. And for the project values, we have to enter project number, project name, project location, and department number. For the works on values, we have to enter employee ID, project number, and according to the number of hours they work. And dependent values, we have to enter employee ID, dependent name, and the gender, address, and age. And the first query display the details of employees who are working on both the projects having project number 5 and 10. So here we have to display the projects which the employer working on both project number and 5, where we select star from employee ID, where MID in select W1 from MID from works on W1, works on W2, where W1 dot project number is equal to P5 and W2 dot project number is equal to P10. Here they shows the employee name and the employee ID who works on both the project, like number 4 and number 5. And the second query is display the details of employees having at least two dependents. We have to display at least two dependents of employee here we select star from employee where emp id, select emp id from dependent grouping by emp id having count, dependent name greater than or equal to 2, because they are given at least 2 dependents, so it displays the details from the insertion table. Display the project name on which more number of employees are working. So here they are asking more. So select project number, project name from project where project number in select, project number from works on group by project number having count, and here select maximum. Maximum means to show whether the employees are working like more. I mean more number of employees from works on group by number, and it displays according to the insertion table. Retrieve the employees who do not have any dependents. So select star from employee where employee not in select employee employee ID from dependent. So here it will display employees uh, do not have any dependents. Fifth query is display the employee details whose total number of hours per week working on various projects is maximum than all other employees. So here select star from employee where emp id in select emp id from works on group by emp id having sum of hours is equal to select maximum of sum hours from works on group by emp id. So this displays the total number of hours per week done by the employee who has done the maximum times. So that displays this table. And the last query is create a view to display the number of employees working in each department. So create view number of employee per department as select department number count as number of employee from employee grouping by department number. So it will show the dependent table where how many employees are working in each department. And ER diagram for the employee table, e-name, EID, address are all attributes. EID is the primary key, and employee ID supervises, and employee ID from works like it's M-to-N relationship to department, where department has department name as attribute and D location as attribute. D number is the primary key. Employee manages the department, and department controls the project, and project has the attribute P location, project name, project number is the primary key, and the employee works on number of hours, and employee has like one-to-one relationship dependent with name, gender, age, address as the attributes. This is the schema diagram where employee has emp ID, name, address, super ID, and the department number, project as a project number, P project name, project location, department number, where project number is primary key, department having department number, department name, department location, and manager register ID as department number is the primary key. Department number is referred from the department number from the department table, and independent name is the primary key, gender, age, address, and employee ID is referred from the employee ID from the employee table. And the employee ID is the primary key, project number is referred from the project ID from the project number from the project table, and employee phone number, employee ID is the employee ID and phone number. Employee ID is referred from the employee ID of the employee table. That's it, ma'am.
Yes, Vishal. Yes, Vishal. Okay, next person.
Ma'am, Rizwan.
Yes, Rizwan, you can start.
Can you see, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. My program is second month in this.
Increase. Rizwan, increase the size. Increase the size. Okay.
My program is second
Okay.
month. In this, we are consider a cricket ABC Cup. In this, we will be creating team name, team ID, city, coach. Each team will be having team ID and players and captain map. Each player will be having player ID, name, multiple phone numbers. The player represents only one team, and there will be unique stadium ID, stadium name, address involves city, name, pin code. A team can play many matches, and each match will be played between two teams. And creation table, ma'am. In this create table, player ID varchar 2 of 10 will be primary key, player name varchar of 15, age varchar 2 of 10, phone number. And after that, these are the which will be created, player ID, player name. And the next table is create team ID varchar 2 of 10 is the primary key, team name varchar, city varchar, coach varchar of 15, captain varchar will be references from the player table. And the create table matched varchar 2 of 10 is primary key, result varchar references from team man of the match varchar references, it is reference from the above table. Create table stadium ID varchar 2 of 10 is a primary key, stadium name varchar, city varchar, area varchar, pin code. Create table place matched varchar references from match from the above table, team ID varchar references from the team ID varchar references from team, stadium varchar references stadiums, match date varchar, time varchar. The last table is played for, played ID varchar, team ID varchar. And now insertions table, insertion table for player values. We will insert player ID, player name, age, phone number. And team insertion, team ID, team name, city, coach, captain. In match values, matched result and man of the match. In stadium values, stadium ID, stadium name, city, area, and pin code. And in place values, matched team ID, team ID 1, team ID 2, stadium ID, match date and time. It will display all this. Now queries display the youngest player in terms of age, name, team, age in which he belongs of the tournament. Select P dot player name, T dot team name, P dot age from player P, team T played for, PF where player ID is equal to PF dot player ID and T dot team ID is equal to PF dot team ID and P dot age. Select minimum of P dot age from player P. In this, it will show the minimum who's very less considered to age. It will display that. List the details of stadium where maximum number of matches were played. Select S dot stadium, count of M dot matched from place P, stadium S, match M where P dot stadium ID is equal to S dot stadium and P dot matched is equal to M dot matched, group by S dot stadium, having count of M dot matched is equal to select maximum of count of M dot matched from place P, group by P dot stadium. In this, it will show the stadium in which most number of matches will be are played. List the details of player who is not captain but got man of the match award at least in 2 matches. Select P dot player ID, P dot player name from player P where P dot player ID in select P dot player ID from player P minus select T dot captain from team T. Player P intersect select M dot man of the match from match M, group by M dot man of the match having count of M dot matched greater than or equal to 0. In this, it will show the player who have got the man of the match, which is but he is not the captain. Display the team details who won the maximum matches. Select M dot result, count of M dot matched from match M team where T dot team ID is equal to M dot result, group by M dot result having count. M dot matched is equal to select max of count M dot matched from match M, group by M dot results. In this, it will show the who won the number of matches. Display the team name where all its won matches played in the same stadium. Select M dot matched, M dot result, P dot stadium ID, T dot city, S dot city from match M place P, team T, stadium S, where M dot matched is equal to P dot matched and S dot stadium ID equal to P dot stadium ID, and M dot result is equal to T dot team ID, and S dot city is equal to T dot city. In this particular team which has won more matches in a single stadium. Here diagram. Player has the attributes like phone, PID, age, P name, and player is the captain of a particular team, and team has attributes as T name, city, coach, ID, and player man of the match. The particular match play has attributes time, date, venue, winner. Match has one attribute, match ID, and match is played at a stadium. Stadium has attribute student stadium name, stadium ID, pin code, city, area. Schema diagram. Team ID, team name, coach, captain ID, city. TID is the primary key. Player ID, player name, age, uh, team ID, and player ID is related to captain ID, and stadium has stadium ID, stadium name, pin code, city, area. Matches, match ID, match date, time, stadium ID, team 1 ID, team 2 ID, winning team ID, man of the match. In this, team ID is linked to team ID of table team, and team 2 ID is related to the team table of TID, and player phone has PID and pphone. PID is the primary key, and PID is related to player of PID. Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Rizwan. Yes. You have showed all the execution of the program, Rizwan?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next person.
Ma'am, Sunil?
Yes, Sunil.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, is my screen is visible?
Yes, increase the font size. Increase the font size. Okay.
Ma'am, it's the first program. Create following tables, property specified with the primary key, foreign keys, and solve the following queries. You have to create a database for a college. In that first table is branch, student, book, author, borrowers. The queries are like list the details of students who are studying in the second sem MCA. List the students who are not borrowed any books. Display the USN, student name, branch name, book name, author name, book borrowed date of second sem MCA students. Display the number of books written by each author. Display the student details who borrowed more than 2 books. Display the student details who borrowed books of more than one author. Display the book's name in descending order of their names. List the details of students who borrowed the books which all published by the same publishers. In that we are going to give a solution like create a table. We are creating all tables, branch table and student table and author table, book table with their properties like a book ID is a primary key, author ID is a primary key, USN is a primary key, and branch ID is a primary key, and all others are not primary key, but they are having varchar data types. Create table borrower. We are going to insert the values in the branch. For that, insert into branch values, branch ID and branch name and HOD. We are inserted around 10 values, and we are inserting into student who are students are there in MCA. Insert into author. We are inserting the values to the authors who are there, authors like who are written the books, authors names and their country, age and author IDs. In that author ID is the primary key. We are inserted 9 rows. We are inserting books who all written different books. We have 8 different books, and we inserted through author ID and publishers who are published. The publisher name was just and the book ID is a primary key. We are inserting who are borrowed, who have got books from library. We are inserted their values with their dates and book IDs and USNs. And query, the first query is list the details of students who all studying in second sem MCA. Select s.usn, s.name, s.address, s.sem, b.borrower name from student S branch B, where S dot branch ID is equals to B dot branch ID and B dot branch name is equals to MCA and S dot SM is equals to 2. For that query we got one value, that is S01 Asha Bangalore to MCA. This we are getting who was studying in a second sem MCA. Student details. Asha only was studying in a second sem MCA. List the student who are not borrowed any books. In that, select USN name from student, where USN in another sub selection is doing in this. Select USN from student. We are minusing that. Select distinct USN from borrower. In that we got 2 members has not took any books from the library. Display the USN, student name, branch name, book name, author name, book borrowed date of second sem MCA students who borrowed the books. S.USN, S.name, branch name, B. book name, A. author name, B. borrowed date from student. S. Book B. Author A. Borrower BO. Branch BR, where S.USN is equals to BO.USN and S.branch ID is equals to BR.branch ID and S.sem is equals to second 2 and BR.branch name is equals to MCA. These are the students who are got the books from MCA. Display the number of books written by each author. In that, select A.author, author ID, count. We are counting the authors who are written how many books. In that, B.book ID from book B, author A, where B.author 1 ID equals to A.author ID. Group by, we are grouping all the things. A.author IDs. We got an output A1, 1, A3, 1, A4, 3, A2, 2, A5, 1. Display the student details who borrowed more than 2 books. That select usn.count. We are counting the students. bo.book ID from student S, borrower BO, book BK, where S.usn is equals to bo.usn and bo.book ID is equals to BK book ID. Group, we are grouping that students by S.usn having a count, who having a count less than 2. We are displaying USN is S1, S01 and they got 5 books. More than 2 books means they got 5 books, 1 student. Display the student details who borrowed the books from books of more than 1 author. In that we are getting same book means same author name, but who got more books. We are displaying that. Select S.usn that you are counting A.author ID from student S, borrow BO, book BK, author A, where S.usn is equals to bo.usn and bk.book id is equals to bo.book id and a.author id equals to bk.author1 id group by s.usn having count is less than 1. We got two outputs in this, that is yeah, s not 1 5, s not 3 is 2. Display the book name descending order of their name. Book name in descending order. Select star from book. Order by book name is descending. DESC is a short form of to display descending order. We got like this in descending order. List the details of student who borrowed the books which all are published by the same publisher. Select s.usn, s.name, b.book, book name, b.publishers from student S book of B book borrower of BO, where s.usn is equals to bo.usn and b.book id is equals to bo.book id and b.publisher is equals to TTT. The TTT publishers who return more, how many books it will display. That is S04 Devs at STTT as publishers. In this diagram, that branch ID is linked to student table and also it's linked to book table, and USN is linked to USN here, and book ID is it is linked to book ID in a borrower table. Author ID is book linked to author. It's in here diagram. There was four tables branch. It's having a three sub entities: branch ID, branch name, HOD. Student is having a four sub entities: USN, name, address, same. Borrower has having only one entity, but it have a relationship with students and book. So borrow date it's having book is having three entities: publishers, book ID, author ID, and for book and author we have a relationship with the writers. Author is having a four entities: author ID, author name, country, and age. Branch and book is having a has a relationship, and branch and student is having a has a relationship. Map.
ಆಯ್ತಪ್ಪ.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, Vinny.
Yeah, one by one.
Your last date of the
Ma'am, I'll present.
Yeah, fine.
Savita.
Okay, Vinny, you can start. Vinny? Unmute.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So, ma'am, I got third program. Consider an organization ABC having many employees. An employee works on one department. Each employee is identified by EMPID, name, address, house number, city, district, etc., and phone numbers. Department we have identified using DNO, DName, DLocation, and each department has a manager. Then department has since it has many employees, there will be dependence on the employees, and then we have projects under each department which is controlled by individual departments, and then each project it is uniquely identified by PNO, project name, project location, and employees from each department they're working on different projects, and then we calculate here the number of hours per week which are worked on each project by an employee, and then the number of employees they are working for how many hours under which project and they are under which department. Then we have dependents, then for which we have dependent name, gender, age, address, and they are uniquely identified by EMPID. So first table we have employee with where EMP ID is the primary key, then EMP name, address, and super EMP ID. Super EMP ID is basically used for the head. That's why we use super. Then DNO, and then we display it. Then second table is EMP phone where we have EMP ID, phone number, and then third here we altered employee table and add foreign key that is for super emp id which will reference from employee table, and then department where we have department number which is the primary key, department name, department location, and department manager id which will reference from employee table emp id. Then create table where we have PNO as the primary key, P name, P location, department number, and which will here department number it will reference from the department table. Then we have works on. Here works on is the weak entity where it will not have primary key but it will have foreign key, where we have emp id, then pno which will and project which will reference from project pno which will reference from project table and number of hours. Then we have dependent table where we have emp id employee which is referencing from employee table, dependent name, gender, and address, and age. Then we insert the values that is into the employee table which are emp id, emp name, address, super emp id, and dno. Then inserting the values into emp phone, that is the phone table, that is we only enter emp id and the phone number of the employee. Then department we insert values into the department table, that is department number and department name, department location, and department manager id. Then we enter values into project tables, that is pno name, location, number, and department number. Then into works on tables, that is we enter values which is emp id, pno, and number of hours. Then into dependent table we enter emp id, dependent name, gender, address, and age. Now we come to the queries where display the details of the employees who are working on both the projects having number 5 and 10. So here we display the employees where the project where employees having the project numbers 5 and 10, and that will be displayed. Then display the details of employees having at least 2 dependents. Here we enter employees which have more than 2 dependents, that is it displays the emp number, then emp name and address of those employees which will have more than 2 dependents. Then display the project name on which more number of employees are working. Then here we display department which has more number of people working under each department. So here we get the P number and P name of the employee. Retrieve the employees which do not have any dependents. Here we display those employees which do not have any dependents. Of each department, all those employees will be displayed which will not have any dependents. Then display the employee details whose total number of hours per week working on various projects is maximum than all other employees. Here we will know here we'll display all those employees which are working for more hours compared to other employees. So this person is working for more hours than the other person. Create a view to display the number of employees working in each department. So separately all those employees for which are working under each department, they'll be displayed. So we have the diagram. We have employee which has e-name, EID, address, where EID is the primary key. Then we have works for department, where department has dname, dno, d location. Dno is the primary key which manages employee and department that have been connected. And then we have dependent which has name, gender, age, and address. Then project which has p location, p number, p name, pno is the primary key, and here independent name is the name. Okay, yeah. Then we have schema diagram where in the employee table we have EID, name, address, super ID, DNO, where EID is the primary key. Then project where we have PNO, P name, P location, DNO, where PNO is the primary key. Dependent department, we have DNO, D name, D location, and manager ID, where DNO is the primary key and it has been referenced from project table DNO. Then we have dependent where we have name, gender, age, address, and EID, and EID has been referenced from the employee table EID. And then we have employee project where we have EID, PNO, and where EID and PNO they've been referenced from the employee table and the project table. Then we have EMP phone number where we have EID and phone number, where EID has been referenced from the employee table. Ma'am.
Savita.
Yes, Savini.
Can I share?
Yes, Savita.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
ma'am, wait. Execution I'll show. Ma'am.
Yes, Savini.
Yeah. Ma'am, this is the 5th program. Ma'am, I was getting some errors in this. Like I couldn't properly do everything. Ma'am, the output is down. This is the 5th one. And this is 4th one. The output is down. Ma'am, 4th and 5th.
Yes, Vinny.
Ma'am, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Savita was saying something.
Shruti.
Yeah, Shruti. Anyone
Okay.
who want to give
I'll
one?
present. Savita.
Ma'am, is it visible, ma'am? Ma'am? Hello?
Yes, Savita.
Ma'am, is it visible? I shared. Ma'am, I shared. Is it visible, ma'am? I shared the screen.
Yes. Yeah, Shruti, it is visible. Savita,
Ma'am, these are
you
first we
can
have to create the following tables with proper specifying the
stop
primary.
presenting. Savita. Wait. Stop presenting.
Ma'am, Shruti, I'm presenting.
Stop presenting. But still it is showing here.
Yeah, ma'am, I stopped.
Okay, Shruti, you continue.
Okay, ma'am. First we have to create the following tables with properly specifying the primary key, foreign key, and
Shruti,
solve the.
continue.
Yeah, ma'am. Ma'am, first we have to create the following tables with specifying the primary keys, foreign key, and solve the following queries. First, we have to create tables of branch, student, book, author, and borrow. These are the queries. List the details of students who are all studying in second sem MCA. List the students who are not borrowed any books, and display the USN student name, branch name, book name, and author name. Books borrowed date of second sem MCA students who borrowed the books. Display the number of books written by each author. Display the students details who borrowed more than two books. Display the students details who borrowed books of more than one author. Display the books name in descending order of their names. List the details of students who borrowed the books which are all published by the same publisher. Here I created the table, like create table branch. In this branch table, having branch id, branch name and worker by use. We can describe the branch by using this branch. Here branch id is the primary key and branch name and hod. uh, Next, create table student. In this usn, in this table, in the student table, having usn name, address, sem, branch id, and usn is the primary key. Then author table, in author table having author id, author name, country, age. Author id is the primary key, varchar is the data type. Then book, I'll be creating the book table. Book id, book name, author id, publisher, branch id. Book id is the primary key. Then borrow table, usn, book id, borrowed date. Then I'll be inserting the values into a branch table. So these are branch id, branch name, and hod. So these are the values I have inserted, the 10 values. Then insert the student values like usn name, address, sem, and branch id. These are the values, like 8 rows are selected. Then I'll be inserting the author values, author id, author name, country, age. Next, book values, book id, book name, author id, and publisher, branch id. We have to insert values for borrow. So usn, book id, borrow date. Then these are the queries. We have to list the details of students who are all studying in second sem MCA. So the query is select s.usn, s.name, address, sem, branch name from student, branch B, where s branch id is equal to branch id and branch name is equal to MCA and sem is equal to 2. So these are the outputs who are studying in second sem is Asha. Then list the students who are not borrowed any books. So select USN name from the student, where USN in, select USN from the student minus. Have distinct. Distinct means unique. USN from the borrow. Next display next query is display the USN student name, branch name, book name, author name, books borrowed, date of second sem MCA students who borrowed the books. Select distinct s.usn, s.name, branch name, book name, author name, borrow date from student, book, author, borrow, branch, where usn is equal to s.usn is equal to borrow dot usn and s dot branch id is equal to branch id and student dot sm 2 and branch name is equal to mca. So these are the like displaying. Next, we have to display the number of books written by each author. So select author ID, count b dot book ID from book author A, where book author ID is equal to a dot author ID, group by, we have to group author ID. Then had to display the student details who borrowed books more than two books. So select usn count book id from student s dot borrow book, where s dot usn borrowed usn and borrow book id is equal to bk book id group, had to group by usn having count book id is less than 2. Next, we had to display the student details who borrowed books more than one author. So these are the select usn count author id from student and borrow book author, where usn is equal to borrow usn and book id and book id and author book id is equal to book author id group. Will be grouping usn having the count author id is less than 1. Display the have to display the book names in descending order of their names. So select a star from order by book name, that will be in descending order. Next, list the details of students who borrowed the books which are published by the same publisher. So the query is select.usn s.name book name b publisher from the student, s book borrow, and S where USN, B USN, and book ID, and B dot publisher is equal to T. These are the published borrowed the books which are published by the same publisher. So these are the branch ID. Branch ID is primary key, branch name, and HOD. Then the branch student USN name, address, SEM, branch ID. This branch ID is linked refers to the in student table. Next, book ID, book name, publisher, and branch ID, author ID. Then author ID, author name, country, age. Author name is refers to the author ID. Then borrow USN, book ID, book date. This USN is sorry, borrow date is referred by book ID. Then this is a diagram. Branch as a attribute, branch ID, branch name, HOD, has student USN name, address, SEM, and borrow date. Then author has author ID, writes book. Yeah. Ma'am. Ma'am, completed, ma'am.
Yes, answer your
Ma'am,
attendance.
Ma'am, shall I share?
Ma'am, I'll
Ma'am,
show.
Rest of them after the break. Rest of them
Ma'am,
after the break.
Ma'am, I'll show the queries.
Rest
Ma'am.
of them after the break. 1, USN 1, 2,
Present, ma'am.
3,
Ma'am, one present.
2, 3, 4,
Present, ma'am. 3 present, ma'am.
5, Amrish,
Present,
Anu,
ma'am.
Arpaz,
Present, ma'am. Anu, present, ma'am.
Yamak, Arjun, Ashok, Anita, Bhargavi,
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Avishya,
Present, ma'am.
Chaitra, Devmalai,
Chaitra.
Present, ma'am.
Bhavishya present.
Diksha, Diksha A, Deepika LG, Deepika MB, Murli Krishna,
Present, ma'am.
Gangubai,
Deepika MB present, ma'am.
marked Gangubai, Gudia, Harshit, Chunjar,
Present, ma'am.
Kavya,
Present, ma'am.
Kavya, Kishore, Lata,
Present, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Manisha, Manjunath,
Yes, ma'am.
Nayana, Nilanjan, Nishant,
Present, ma'am.
Pavitra,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Nishant present.
I'm Pavitra present.
yeah, Pavitra present.
Ma'am, Nishant present, ma'am.
Yeah, Nishant,
Present, ma'am.
Maithili,
Ma'am, Gudia present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Gudia present, ma'am.
I'm Deepika LG present, ma'am.
Priyanka, Pavan,
Present, ma'am.
Gudia, ma'am.
Akash,
Ma'am,
Akash.
Akash present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Rajeshwari,
Pawan present.
Diksha present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
Rakesh, Ramya,
Present,
Rashmi, Ravi,
Yes, ma'am.
Rizwan,
Present,
Vishal,
ma'am.
Present,
Kavita,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Shruti, Sneha,
Present, ma'am.
Spurti, Srinidhi,
Present, ma'am.
Srinivas,
Present, ma'am.
Sunil,
Present, ma'am.
Vaishnavi, Vinny.
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Gudia.
Diksha present, ma'am.
Yeah.
I'm Deepika LG, ma'am.